Believe it or not, you might not believe it, I don't know. On some videos, I actually do ask a lot of people. It's not just like people that I agree with them and they agree with me, because that's not really important. On some certain things, it's like, I have this feeling that, and all the evidence suggests that this is going, and, people will give me input, they'll have input on certain things. I'll talk to complete strangers. I'll actually do that when I'm out and about. If I see somebody like talking about something, I'll catch a whiff of something that they're saying. I'll ask them. It's like they'll have an insight, or they might be connected somehow, that they have more information on a particular front than I do. I found out a lot of stuff that way. I used to call that investigative journalism. 60 Minutes and 2020 are old TV shows that actually go out and, make their feet hurt, trying to track down information. I don't have the time to do the stuff that they did, nor certainly not the resources. But I've found some startling information from a lot of different places, and like your input on this, because I do read every comment. And the best that I could come up with to place this in short, that there is about 150% chance guarantee of a recession sometime no later than August to October. And I hope that a depression doesn't hit, but certainly so. A recession is absolutely guaranteed. At the very, very, very least, stagflation is guaranteed, but a recession is coming. I was talking to my tax guy. Yes, I paid all my taxes. He's a brilliant man. I really like him a lot. He's a wonderful person. He worked for the IRS for over 40 years, I believe, and he was telling me that recently this year that the IRS gets 1,500 calls per minute. And I did know this fact from like last year, that the average American could not afford a $500 emergency. Now, I kind of fall in that group, especially if I like break my leg or something, because I can't afford health insurance. I work 7 days a week. I can't afford health insurance. I got like $4,700 to my name, $4,700 to my name, which sucks. If an emergency happens, then I'm out of luck. I recently sold off my second vehicle. I don't need two vehicles, and I did sell it off. I really hope that a depression does not happen. They're going to do a raise in interest rate on debt here very soon on credit cards. And I want to ask you something else that's a serious issue. There's actually a couple fronts that's a serious issue. Is that you notice it. I don't know where you're located at. And I'm not interested in news. I know how much of a liar the news is. But I can actually filter out their nonsense. I know when they're lying through their teeth, which is, of course, most of the time. But sometimes, if you're really intelligent, you could listen to a liar and determine the truth by, the stuff that they say and the stuff that they avoid saying. And you see through their lies and nonsense. But what is your take on the fact that all of these fronts are talking about, and I'll give a perfect example of this. Lawsuits were filed today. That the media is working so hot on trying to build a hot war with Russia. What's your position on that? Because they are working really, really, really hard at it. I mean, hard. My opinion, and I did use the word opinion because I can't stand opinions. I'm interested in facts, logic, wisdom rather than opinions, but logical speculation. They're doing a lot to cover up a lot of their misdeeds and financial misdeeds of printing money, and there's a million different reasons for why they're doing this, and that's pure speculation on my part. But there is no doubt that they're working hard on building up a hot conflict with Russia. Here's the fact. Mitt Romney, who's a representative, and another person who's an ex-TV guy. He's a big guy. He's kind of gone defunct. And a couple other people. One person is really important. One of them was Mitt Romney. Now, this person, Tulsi Gabbard, even though she's very intelligent and quite beautiful, I personally have no love lost for this person at all, Tulsi Gabbard. And that's just not politics. I don't really respect this person, but she is very intelligent, and she has served in the military. faithfully. She used to be a U.S. representative. By all standards, she's a super loyal. She'd be like Miss America. Not Captain America. She'd be the female version of Captain America. Beautiful, intelligent, great shape, served in the military. Honorably, she still continues. So the fact that she questions the uptick of talk of hot conflict with Russia, she has been called by other U.S. representatives, and this is just a perfect example, Romney, calling her a traitor. There have been a lot of people calling her a flat-out traitor. Now, I don't know if you know what the legal definition of a traitor is, but it is a very, very serious claim. It's basically worse than you being accused of treason. That you've like smuggled secrets out to a foreign entity. The fact that this person, and I have no love of this person at all, Tulsi Gabbard, former U.S. representative, serving faithfully in the military, the fact that she is trying to put the brakes on all this hot talk of conflict, military conflict with Russia, she's being called a traitor by an enormous amount of people, for questioning escalation with Russia. I like your position on this, and of course we could all speculate on this. There's only a handful of people that know the myriad reasons for why this repulsive hot talk of armed escalation with Russia is going on in the United States. There's a serious issue. I don't know how far spread it is in the world. I've heard from a lot of Australians that this is the case also. I've heard from Canadians that this is also the case, as well as a lot of people from UK, and I've got a name for this myself. I refer to people living in a nutshell, smelling their own flatulence. They've completely blocked out the outside world. They're living in a bubble, sniffing their own flatulence. They are so isolated. They cannot see out past the tips of their shoes. There used to be people that would live with their head on a swivel. They could see things coming, kind of like the meerkat that stands on its hind legs and looks around for dangers. But nobody does that anymore. Everybody's living in a total isolated nutshell. They're like living in mama's basement, playing video games, smoking substances. They've zoned out the world. They have no idea what's going on. And when you tell some of these people, they just don't care. Like you could tell somebody if you're able to see the future, like, tomorrow, you're going to have a super serious, it's like they don't care. It's like, this is really, really important. You should want to know this stuff. Keep on top of not world events because you can't trust the news. And that's also, too, another reason why you can't talk to anybody is because the news are such, horrific liars that nobody believes anything anymore. When nobody believes anything anymore and you can't talk common sense to anybody and everybody's brain is deflated, they have, literally I call it mental incontinence. You could feed, tell them facts, logic, and wisdom in one ear and fall right out the other. They've heard so much lies and nonsense and garbage from the so-called news. As someone that lived in Russia, I've heard lots of propaganda. By the way, the worst propaganda I ever heard was not from Russia. When I was living there, I also too lived in the Soviet Union. Soviet Union and post-Soviet Union, okay? Soviet Socialistic Republic and Russia. The worst propaganda I ever heard was from the BBC. Way worse than anything I ever heard from Russia. Soviet Russia. Literally, BBC, the worst. I'm sure there might be worse out there, to be sure. It's the worst I ever heard. Then nobody believes anything anymore. And can you blame them? If they're just so busy working or so busy zoning out that they can't pay attention to anything. You could say, hey, the tanks are rolling up they're rolling up the street and they're headed your way. It's like, I don't care. I don't believe you, man. I don't believe you. You lie to people enough, they don't believe anything anymore, even if you give them like a laundry list of facts. Or even logical induction. It's like, I got a laundry list of facts here. Anybody with a half a brain can put two and two together. They don't care anymore. They've been lied to so much that they don't believe anything. We call this anti-foundationalism, by the way. There's a phrase for it. Yuri Bezmenov, a former Russian KGB guy, talked about this. There's like an hour and a half long video. Talks about the steps of the destruction of society or your adversary's government, and this is part of it. He's Yuri Bezmenov, former КГБ, Комитет государственной безопасности, KGB. He's an old guy. I think he's dead. I forget when he died. There's an old video of him talking about this stuff. So, yeah, the average American can't afford a $500 emergency. There is no ifs, ands, or buts of recession coming. Absolutely none. Here in the UK, I said here in the UK as if I'm in the UK. I was hearing this from folks in jolly old England, is that the people that produce eggs, the farmers and the egg growers, grow eggs, you kind of grow, you harvest eggs, excuse me. They say they're not going to deliver eggs anymore. They're warning of an egg shortage in England because they're just not being paid enough. They're trying to keep the cost of eggs down, and so they're paying like this limit on eggs, but the people that bring the eggs, deliver the eggs to market, it's like, it's too cheap because chicken feed is way up, fertilizer is way up. Those eggs cost a lot more. So the people that are delivering the eggs is like, no, too cheap, not going to deliver it. And so they're warning of a huge egg shortage. And why do I care about eggs, even if you eat eggs or don't eat eggs? That's just one example of what's coming quickly down the pike, quickly around the corner. It is the canary in the coal mine. When the people that produce eggs and want to get rid of them and make money tell you, it's like, no, not enough money. It's like they're already radically high. Eggs are. It's like still not high enough. It's not even worth my time to deliver the eggs to you. This is a canary in the coal mine. It's not about the freaking eggs. It's about what it represents for everything else. If you think food prices are high now, and they are high, they ain't a-stoppin'. It's not stopping. There's no indication of it stopping. None. And since people right now are teetering on the edge with inflation, oy. I got a bunch of food. I got like a year's worth of food hoarded, tons of sprouting seeds. And I'm not a prepper. Don't ever call me a prepper. It's like, well, you're a prepper. You've been prepping with food and stuff. It's like I feel like I haven't even done enough. I mean, I've got farmland and I got spring in my cave. I have to move down to the cabin and do it. Just this is like Weimar Republic sort of stuff. It's like right before the crash of the 1920s. The day before, everybody was out hooting and hollering in the streets and partying and having a good. I don't care, everything's fine. The people that were smart, like the meerkat on their hind legs, they could see what was coming and they got the heck out. They took their money out of the market. They could see that a crash was coming. My point is that things can turn on a dime. People have no idea. I went to the grocery store today. There's plenty of food. I don't know what you're worried about. Those are what people say, stuff like that. People have no idea how fast things can turn on a dime. People really never have a clue about that. Most people today didn't live through that. The people that did live through that most of them are dead or way too old. They always remember it, even if they're really, really old, like 100 years old. You literally have to be about 100 years old to remember that. Not too many of those people around, in case you didn't notice. Society just does not know that... Society doesn't know that society itself is the thinnest crust imaginable over top of the largest volcano imaginable. And... only takes one little needle point to pop the balloon on that super thin crust. Don't accuse me of fear-mongering or anything like that. I'm not interested in that. I know there's a recession coming. I hope a depression isn't coming. Definitely so stagflation, 1,000%. And about 200% guarantee of a recession. Also, too, I'd like your opinion on the building hot conflict with Russia, that all these government entities, I'm going to use that word instead of the word I want to use, entities are pushing. They just keep pushing a hot conflict with Ruske Narode, Mother Russia. Tell me what you think about that one. You know they're doing it. The only person that doesn't know that that's not being pushed is someone's had their head in the sand for the past 2 years. I mean, not 2 years, excuse me. Past upteen number of weeks. Because they're pushing it hard. Illegitimately hard, you know? I could see if it were like Canada or Mexico, you know, that was in the place, but it's like it's Ukraine. You know, why all of a sudden, you know, no one's ever heard of, most Americans anyway, never heard of Ukraine. Know where it even is on a map. Yet all of a sudden it's the most important entity on Earth. You know, I'm not saying it's not important, you know, and the people that are, you know, undergoing horrible perils there. I'm not saying that, but it's like all of a sudden that's like the most important thing in the world, that America needs to, you know, bring itself to the brink of World War III with Russia over it. By the way, nuke-capable fighter jets, there are pictures of them, have been spotted over the skies of Ukraine. These are carriers that are known for carrying those. I hope that doesn't happen. The world needs to pull itself back from the brink, and by the world, I mean the United States. So anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks. I spent all day long and yesterday making these 5 alligator wallets. So if these are one of yours, I'll be sending them out tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.